Hey everybody, Argent here. So a couple people really liked my the two deck videos I've done so far, so I figure I have another couple decks, so let's go through them. So this deck isn't like super good. There was a guy at my school back in high school who used to use this back when Lorwyn came out, and I just had a ton of fun with it, and I figured I might as well show it off. I built it because this cost like 10, 15 bucks. All the cards in this are super cheap. If you have a group of friends you want to play Magic with, and you just want to get in, you just want to play casual, you don't want to do any tournaments, there's lots of great cheap deck ideas you can do. White Weenies is always good. Just make a basic equipment deck, maybe some basic modular from Mirrodin, some sort of elven tribal deck. I mean, recently Magic's gotten more and more, and this is kind of why I stopped playing, is around the time New Phyrexia came out in Shards of Mirrodin, they introduced something called Mythic Rares, which are all just overpowered cards, and if you want to play in a more modern format, you have to have them in your deck. They aren't like good things, but you just have to have them. But if you want to play casual, then yeah, just do whatever. So this is my Millfolk deck. So let's just start drawing. And I'm showing this off. I'm just sitting in bed, and that is my copy of the Worlds of Ice and Fire. Okay, so let's see here. Actually, you know what? I didn't shuffle very well. So we're just going to cheat and we're going to draw another card. Oops. That's the problem with deck cases, is they look nice and they protect your cards, but they have a tendency to make them super slippery. Okay, let's move that up there. Okay, that's actually a really good starting hand for this deck. Here, I'll just move that down there out of the way. So, Millfolk. So I drew 3 land, and I drew the main cards I need to make this deck go. So I would probably take... So for the sake of this game, I'm going to play first. So I'm going to play an island my opponent goes. I draw a Void Mage Prodigy, which will become helpful later, and I play an island. I tap 2, and I play... I should really find a better place to do this, but don't worry, I'm a professional. Judge of Currents. So 1/1 for 2. Whenever a merfolk you control becomes tapped, you gain a life. So I put him down there. Opponent goes. He probably plays a 1/1 creature or something like that. So I tap. I draw. That's okay. I don't need another one. So then I tap 3 land, and I play the card that really trolls people, and is the whole point of this deck, Drowner of Secrets. So Drowner of Secrets' effect is tap an untapped merfolk you control. Target player puts the top card of his or her library into his or her graveyard. So I think you see where this is going. So I end my turn. My opponent goes. At the end of his turn, I tap both these, and I make him discard the top 2 cards of his library. So this doesn't directly hurt him. I mean, he might have had like some of the key cards in his deck, so it'll hurt him over time, but it doesn't affect anything that's in play at the moment. But over time, so I gain 2 life though. So they're going to have to outdo your life gain if they hope to win this. So I draw, and I draw a island, which is good. So I will tap 2, and I'll play Merfolk Commerce. So Merfolk Commerce, at the end of the turn, untap all Merfolk you control. And it is also a Merfolk, because it's a tribal enchantment. So before the end of my turn, I'll tap all 3. My opponent discards the top 3 cards of his library, and I gain 3 more life. So I've at 25, so then they go and they can hit me or whatever. I don't really care. It doesn't do much to me. And I get to draw again, and I will play Stony Brook School. Oh, and then before at this end of turn, I'll tap, and that'll put me at 28. So then I'll tap 3, and I'll play Storybrooke Schoolmaster. So his effect, whenever he becomes tapped, you may put a 1/1/1, a 1/1 Merfolk Wizard token into play. So at the end of my turn, I tap to mill him for another 4, and that puts me to 31. Then he goes, and at the end of his turn, I tap everything, and that that puts a that does another 4, so that puts me at 35. Plus, because of Stony Brook Schoolmaster, I get another 2 Merfolk tokens. So then I draw another island. So I'm going to play Void Mage Prodigy. So the effect of Void Mage Prodigy is I can sacrifice a wizard to target a spell. Counter a spell. Now, Storybook Schoolmaster is generating 1/1 wizard tokens. So twice a turn I get these, because I get one on my turn, one on my opponent's turn. So it's basically tap 2 mana, counter target spell. That I can use an infinite number of times. So at the end of my turn, I tap all my Merfolk, I gain another 7 life, and I get to put another token into play. So then it's my opponent's turn. So I'm at like 42 at the moment, and they're desperately swinging at me. Maybe they have something decent out by this point in the game, and they attack me with a couple cards. I don't really care, though. I just eat it to the face. When I draw again, I get an island, and I also have 2 Sages Dousing in my hand. So that's 3, and I counter target spell unless they pay 3, which is actually not bad. And I can draw a card because I obviously control a wizard, and that also counts as a wizard. So basically, the only thing that can really hose this or can really beat this is if they play like an Infest, if they play a Fireball, if they play Earthquake, if they play something that hits everything and just clears the board. But that's why you have Void Mage Prodigy. You always keep that 2 mana open, preferably 4, and you have them completely shut down. They probably don't have that many of those in their deck, so if they go Reaver Demon, I shoot everything, you just sacrifice a wizard and counter. And at this point in time, you're just gaining so much life. And I just drew another Judge of Currents, so I'll put a second Judge of Currents into play. So now I basically am gaining... so these both trigger separately, so I get like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 16 life, twice a turn, because I get to go on my opponent's turn because of Marrow Commerce. And you just keep doing that. And pretty quickly in this game, I now have like a shit ton of counters. I'm generating tokens constantly. I'm getting a ton of life. Your opponent's completely fucked. There's nothing they can do. Now, this does depend upon drawing a bunch of cards. If you don't get Judge of Currents, if you don't get Drowner's Secrets, it's going to be difficult because you can't really attack with this deck. But when it does work, it's really trollish. It works pretty well. The key for a lot of these decks is you just, they're very easy to use. So I have like a couple other little things in here. I have a Rule of Law. Each player can't play more than 1 spell a turn. I don't really need to play spells with this deck, so that's just a way to slow my opponent down. I have an Oblivion Ring. Tap 3, remove target permanent from the game. It comes back when it dies, but that's just a good way if they have something that's kind of annoying. We have Fairy Trickery. Counter target non-fairy spell, just in there because it's a card from Lorwyn. Drowner's Secrets, another Rule of Law. So yeah, just everything in this deck is very straightforward. Summon the School. So that's another good card. Put 2 Merfolks into play. Tap 4 Merfolk, return to your hand. So that's a great card. So yeah, so that's basically Millfolk. So what's nice about this deck is I don't think I have any rares in here. Let me just look if I have a single rare. I don't think so. I don't think Void Mage Prodigy is a rare. I know he's time shifted, but yeah, I don't think so. I also have some Void Veldyke and Ether Mages, so I can cycle that for Drowner's Secrets. So I have another 4 of those. So I have 4 Drowner of Secrets and 4 Veldyken Ether Mages. So 8 cards. So I either have to draw those or I have to draw Downer of Secrets. And I have a couple things that let me draw cards, like the Sage's Dowsing. So yeah, this is an example of just a really easy deck to build. Most of these are like 10 cents each, especially if you buy bulk. So yeah, you just need some land. Drowner of Secrets is just an uncommon. He's not a rare. Judge of Currents is just a common. Mirror Commerce is an uncommon. So yeah, if you want to build like kind of a fun little deck like this, you don't really have to spend a lot of money. You just have to kind of come up with something. Look it up. Look up building on a budget if you want to get into Magic and you don't have a lot of spare cash. There's lots of decks like this that are tons of fun to play and don't cost very much money. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that. Talk to you guys later.